Good morning. The Old Testament reading is from Isaiah 42, 1-9. Look at my servant, whom I strengthen. He is my chosen one who pleases me. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring justice to the nations. He will not shout or raise his voice in public. He will not crush the weakest reed or put out the flickering candle. He will bring justice to all who have been wronged. He will not falter or lose heart until justice prevails throughout the earth. Even distant lands beyond the sea will wait for his instruction. God, the Lord, created the heavens and stretched them out. He created the earth and everything in it. He gives breath to everyone, life to everyone who walks the earth. And it is he who says, I, the Lord, have called you to demonstrate my righteousness. I will take you by the hand and guard you, and I will give you to my people Israel as a symbol of my covenant with them. And you will be a light to guide the nations. You will open the eyes of the blind. You will free the captives from prison, releasing those who sit in dark dungeons. I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not give my glory to anyone else, nor share my praise with carved idols. Everything I prophesied has come true, and now I will prophesy again. I will tell you the future before it happens. The gospel reading is from Luke 15, 8-10. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call in her friends and neighbors and say, Rejoice with me because I have found my lost coin. In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God. What do you call a candle dressed in armor? A nightlight. I really like that one because it works better in print with the case. So if people didn't laugh, I had an excuse, and if they did, that was even better. We might not want to dress our candles in armor to get ready for Christmas this year, but we know that as Christians, we need to celebrate the first coming of Jesus and prepare for the second coming by spreading the light of Jesus' love. Advent, as you've seen the past couple weeks and will continue, is a time to light special candles in our churches. We prepare to celebrate Christ's first coming to earth and ask ourselves if we're prepared for his second coming. Advent is a time of joy and anticipation, but also a time of checking ourselves to see if we're living in such a way that we can be considered a follower of Christ. The first 4 verses of this morning's Old Testament reading are often taken to be a reference to the coming Messiah, Jesus. Verses 6 and 7 then talk about the responsibility of God's people. I am the Lord, I have called you in righteousness, I have taken you by the hand and kept you. I have given you as a covenant to the people, a light to the nations, to open the eyes that are blind, to bring out the prisoners from the dungeon, from the prison those who sit in darkness. Even before the first coming, God told his people they had a divinely given task, a responsibility to spread the light of God's love. Verses 8 and 9 affirm that the one speaking is the one true God, and that God is sharing what's going to happen before it happens, as that God has done in the past. The verse skipped so far as verse 5. So let's go back to that, because It holds the key to understanding our task, our mission to spread the light. That verse reads, "Thus says God the Lord, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread out the earth and what comes from it, who gives breath to the people upon it, and spirit to those who walk in it." Who is giving us this mission to spread the light? It is the one who made us. What would happen if you used one of the most typical plugged-into or receptacle electric shavers in the bathtub? Well, if you use it in the bathtub while it's plugged into the receptacle, you might get electrocuted, you might even get killed. There are special electric shavers, that you don't have to plug in when you use them, that you can use in the bathtub, but many shavers were not created for that purpose. Sometimes, like when I use rubbing alcohol and Q-tips to clean my electric shaver, we can use products for something other than that which they were intended, and we'll be okay. It'll work out all right. Other times, if we use products for anything that they weren't intended for, it could be tragic. Either way, it's our doing, not the maker's. Look at the warranties and cautions. If we use products for other than how they were intended, the makers aren't responsible. We are. If God is our maker and God gives us the purpose of spreading the light, then that is a purpose for which we were created. When we spread the light, doing our best, then the results are up to God. Now, when we use one another and ourselves for our purposes, we're responsible, and that's our responsibility. Spreading the light of God's love is not a human-made purpose. It comes from our Maker. On the other hand, when we use one another and ourselves for sinning, then we're breaking the warranty, and God is not responsible for what happens, we are. But when we use ourselves for the purpose of spreading the light of God's love, then we're not breaking the warranty. We're doing what we were intended to do, and God's promises are in effect. In Luke's Gospel, the parable of the lost coin we heard earlier is in between the parable of the lost sheep and the parable of the prodigal son. In that section about God searching for and trying to get back the lost. In the parable of the lost coin, the woman represents God. The lost coin represents a lost sinner. And the woman sweeping and searching represents how God tries to get back the lost sinner. What does the woman do, which is necessary before she starts sweeping and searching? She lights a lamp. If our mission is to spread the light, then we are the lamps God uses to bring back lost sinners. If we don't spread that light, moving forward and outward together, then the darkness of sin can prevent God from reaching the lost. Making disciples also means helping people who are already Christians to become better Christians. And that reminds us that this call to improve ourselves as believers is not a call to live and act in isolation, but a call to work together and to help one another. We can think of this as putting our kingdom living light on a stand. Earlier in Luke's Gospel, back in chapter 8, verses 16 through 18, it says, "No one lights a stand and hides it in a jar or puts it under a bed. Instead, he puts it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." Lamps today, when we think of lamps, they generally use electric energy. They don't work unless they're connected with some source of electricity, usually an outlet or batteries. It's the same way for us as Christians. For our lights to shine to help God's causes, We need to plug them in to our source of power, God. Communion is one fine way to do this. May we feel and know a special connection with God as we commune together this morning. That connection with God can enrich your life and help you enrich the lives of others. That connection can power up your light, a light that can help you and others in practical ways in your everyday living. May we also know and feel a special connection with one another as we commune this morning, that special connection helping us to work together for God's causes. As Christians, we need to celebrate the first coming of Jesus and prepare for the second coming by spreading the light of God's love. With that in mind, please note we will be having communion in the pews this morning. Please wait when you have the bread until everybody has the bread and you hear those words of Jesus once again, and we'll all partake of the bread together. Likewise with the cup, please wait until everyone has it and we hear those words from Christ again, and we will partake of the cup as one.